Gender monkeys, Russian cats, and billions of dollars in improper payments. These are just some examples of absurd government wasted laid out in Rand Paul's annual Festivus report. Our friend Monica Crowley is the host of the Monica Crowley podcast, and she's here to react. Good morning and Merry Christmas, Monica. Thank you so much for joining us. Right now we are finding that we are actually having to borrow money from China to pay interest off of our debt. You call this a very dangerous cycle. Can you explain why?
Yes, and good morning, Nicole. Merry Christmas to you, too. Look, this is a national security threat. The fact that this government, for decades now, has not been able to get spending under control. This report indicates that in fiscal year 2023, the government, just to service the debt, laid out $659 billion that we, for the most part, are borrowing from China to service that debt. And that number is only going to climb because the government continues to spend at outrageous levels. And of course, you know, the American people are the ones left holding the bag and getting the negative consequences of all of this in the form of skyrocketing inflation, crippling interest rates, annual budget deficits now nearing $2 trillion, and an unfathomable national debt closing in on $34 trillion, Nicole. That is a severe national security issue because economic security and that the economic health of the nation is a national security issue. The laws of economics are hard and fast, Nicole, and pretty soon they are going to put the brakes on all of this, and the results are not going to be pretty for you and me.
Well, exorbitant spending obviously goes on both sides of the aisle, but you know, going to Rand Paul's Festivus list, I just want to point out some of these because they really, I mean, when you do this, like, you have to chuckle, but it's not actually funny at all because these are taxpayer dollars. Fraudsters using Barbie doll photos to apply for PPP loans that were approved because AI didn't pick up on it.
What?
DOD destroyed more than $169 million of military equipment by leaving it outside, not to mention the billions of dollars of equipment left behind in Afghanistan. And NIH approved funding for researchers to study the sleep habits of monkeys on meth, and I mean, we can go on and on. You know, Monica, one of my favorite things, you call yourself a happy warrior, and I love hearing you say that every time. But you also say that we as Americans are paying for our own destruction. What do you mean when you say that?
Yeah. Well, we are funding this government with our hard-earned tax dollars. You know, you might want to work a little harder. Remember the shrimp on the treadmill? And everybody had a good laugh about that. But it's no longer funny because these numbers are so destructive to the future of this country and for our children, grandchildren, and subsequent generations. We are paying to fund the government. This government, particularly under Joe Biden, with the wide open border, the chaos in our cities, this kind of wasteful spending, foreign wars that we have no business being involved in Eastern Europe and elsewhere. We are paying to fund our own destruction, and very few things outrage me more than that. And of course, you know, the people in Washington who are spending our hard-earned money are just laughing all the way to the bank. You know, they're enriching and empowering themselves at the expense of us and the future and security of America. It's completely outrageous. And look, this is one of the big reasons why we saw the rise of Donald Trump in 2015 and 2016, and likely why he's going to be reelected again, because people want someone who has a sense of responsibility and puts America and Americans first.
Monica Crowley, Merry Christmas. Thank you so much for being on today.